We will be recording, so if you want to go off camera, you may do so now. Okay, welcome everyone to this month's community call. I'm glad that you're here. And again, if you're just joining, go ahead and add your name and org to the community, to the roll call. The link to the public drive notes document is pinned to the comment section. Okay. All right. So this month's updates for Interledger, we have several blog posts that have gone up, and we have discussion about the Interledger ambassadors cohort that we've announced recently. So we're excited about that. And if you want to go ahead and check out the link to the forum where you can find information about them, and hopefully we will have them joining us on our next community call or in the future, so that way you all can meet them directly. And also, if you have any questions, you can ask some questions. We do want to introduce you all to them as well. And then we have a blog post up, our latest post for the web monetization, and where we are up to date with that you can check out. And we have all these listed on the public notes document, but we can also add some of these links, and Vanille is adding some. So thank you very much for adding the links as well to the chat. We also have our financial rights, human rights. So this one, I think would be a great read for you to check out and learn a bit more information, about that write-up. And also we have our global trends for March 2025, which is another blog that you can check out. And before we move on, I just want to let the floor be open to any of our colleagues who had the blog posts written out, if you want to share a little bit more about those blog posts and highlight any important information there that you want to maybe focus on highlighting in this call. Okay. No. Okay. And so moving on to our grants. So we have the research on financial inclusion and payment interoperability. And Lawil, would you like to come off and talk a little bit about that, since I know this is a new one that we've just announced?
Sure, absolutely. So the new grant, it's a call for papers grant actually, and the grant will be live from, it's live from this week till May 15th, and we're inviting researchers or independent researchers to submit an abstract of about 1,000 words, and the requirements are on the submittable platform. The idea behind it is, of course, is that we need more research within our community and about financial inclusion, but also about interoperability, about policy and about advocacy. So that's why we've established this grant. This grant program officially, or the call, will be open for 1 month. Then the grant program will run for about a year. So the first phase is the submission of the abstract, and then the ones that we've selected, we will ask them to publish, or publish a paper of about 7,000 words concerning the theme that they've selected as well. And the idea is, of course, that we would invite the selected authors to the summit to discuss or present their drafts, because it's quite a lot. So the assumption is, or we hope that they're quite far in their journey by then, by the summit, but it could potentially be that they need a bit more time. And after the summit, I think it's the 15th of November, we would ask them to, publish or submit the final paper. I hope that is enough information. I can share the link in the chat as well for all of you, if you'd like to. And please share it within your networks. And I'm really curious to see what people will submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawil. And sure. Before we move on, does anyone have any questions related to that? You can ask briefly, or you can put it in the chat, or you can follow up, in Slack, or send us an email if you have any specific questions that you would like answered. But floor is open if you have a quick question. Okay. All right. So our next grant, which has already been open, is the Interledger Next Gen Higher Education Grant. So we're now accepting the letter of intent, and that is going on. And if Julaire is on the call, or maybe Lawil, if you have any knowledge of that, if you all wanted to, speak on that one, give a little bit of update on where we are right now, or process, or if you had any questions that may have been something that several people have asked, if maybe you want to answer that question at this time.
I can do that. I don't believe Julia is on the call.
Okay.
Yeah, this will run to I believe in October 4th. So explain the process if you haven't heard quickly. It's a letter of intent, which means basically it's a pre-application. We then judge that, and if it's deemed something of interest, we invite a full proposal. We are definitely looking for as much spread and scale of that link as possible, and looking and happy to talk to any universities who or professors, probably more specifically, who might be interested in that, and send them our way. So that link should give you, that's in the agenda document, should give you all the information that you need, and go from there. But yeah, that's kind of running until the mid-fall. So that's an open letter of intent process. Thank you,
Chris. And then we also have the grantee report, which is our quarterly roundup that you can also read up on as well. And we have the link provided in the document, and Vanille can share that as well in the chat. And our latest podcast episode for the Future Money podcast is Indigenomics in the Digital Future, a conversation with Carol Ann Hilton. So if you have not taken the time to listen to that podcast, feel free, at your leisure to listen to that. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. If you find the conversation very insightful, or have anything that you would like to add to it, again, reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer any questions. And we have our lunch and learn session that was available of the compliance and KYC at Chimani. Some of you who were on the call the last time, our previous call, we had a discussion in our deeper look, talking with Chimani. And so this is more of a continued conversation from there. So feel free to check that out as well. And we also have our next live off the ledger that will be coming up. But until then, you can check out the previous live from last month on the community. And so that was joined by myself and Vanille, and along with Alex and Ioana. So feel free to check out that episode as well. And also the next episode will be coming out next week on April 16th. So love to have you all join live, but also it'll be available for you after. And we also have our next lunch and learn with a discussion on ARIA, the good parts. And so Vanille, if you wanted to chat a little bit more about that, even though this is an internal event for us, we still, want to give you all just a heads up about it. But Vanille, if you wanted to chat about that for a moment.
Yeah, the idea of the ARIA is about accessibility standards for the web. So we have a speaker who is going to talk more about accessibility standards, and who closely work with the W3C standards. So this particular session, the speaker has requested to keep it for internal. but we'll be reaching out to him to make it available at the later times. So you can stay tuned for that.
Thank you. And also City JS London. So if any of you are in the area, feel free to join that conference. So there'll be like workshops and meetup, excuse me, events the 23rd and the 24th. The 25th is the actual conference date, and we will have PPK there speaking on Pay the Web Forward. But if you are in the area, feel free to join in at City JS London. And now we'll have any updates for Rafiki. April, we do have some updates here. There's a post that's out, and I'll ask Max if there's anything specific that you want to call out here on the call, or if you're good just with, pointing everyone to the post.
Yeah, hey everyone. Nothing in particular. I think the interesting thing is we released another version of Rafiki, version 1.1.0 beta. And yeah, we highlighted some of the interesting things that are there in the community post. So feel free to take a look. And yeah, that's mostly it. So thanks.
All right, thank you. And also, before we get into the deeper look in updates for web monetization, we were previously going to have the ambassadors on and for you all to meet them, but we'll plan for that for a later date. And so right now we're going to have our deeper look and conversation from the web monetization team. So TD and Darian.
Thanks, Tiffany. Can I ask you to please give me permissions to share my screen?
Yes, Vanille, if you can go ahead and do that.
Sure.
Thanks. Maybe I should tell a joke in the meantime.
Yeah, done. You would have access now.
Doesn't look like it. No, not yet. Okay, perfect. Thank you. A quick check that you can see. There we go. Yes, you can. Cool. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and get started and also get a timer so that we speak forever. Their hand up. Sorry, could I just check if somebody wanted to say something? No, okay.
Mistake.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Alrighty, so hello everyone, and thanks, Tiffany. We had really big, exciting news to share on the 24th of March, and that was publicly announcing that we released the Web Monetization extension as well as the publisher tools. Both are in beta versions, but we're like, hey, everybody, out there, we have some really cool, we've built some really cool components, and we'd love for you to have a look at them. But before we dive in, I just want to answer this question, and I'm going to make it quick. What is web monetization? Sharing content online has become easier and easier, right? But earning a fair income is not always easy, if even possible. So on the one hand, we have website owners, or like people that own content or publish it. They can use web monetization to complement existing revenue streams that they have. And then here's a different point of view. If you visit websites, and sometimes you want to be able to support someone's work, and you want to decide how much you give or not, or maybe you want to read an article, you don't want a subscription, you can pay as you browse. Web monetization makes that possible. So this big picture is just to contextualize some of the things that we are working on and looking at in terms of web monetization. Today, we're going to focus on like the middle layer, but just to kind of share that like the elements. We have probably the core at the base of everything is the digital wallets, And the idea is that specific wallets are able to send or receive payments using this technology. Alongside that, we are working on learning material. We have a website and some really comprehensive documentation that I would love for you to spend some time with. And then we have some really great assets for advocacy and marketing around like web monetization, talking to different, to different points of view, people that may want to monetize their work versus people that may want to support using this. So I'm going to delve into the browser extension, and a little bit later on, Darian will talk about the publisher tools. So the extension, I just want to say, from the point of view of you and me, whenever we visit websites, it just extends the capability of your browser to be able to pay using web monetization. That's all the extension does. And you can download it from for these 3 different types of browsers, whether it is on the Chrome Web Store, it would look something like this. On the Firefox add-ons page, this is what you would see. And on the add-ons for Edge, it would look something like this. All get you the exact same extension that makes it possible for you to pay websites that are monetized using the extension. We have a really awesome blog post about this. I'd love for you to dig into exactly what we have released entails, the context in which it has been released, and like why it matters. We also go into a lot more detail about like what's new or like what's worth highlighting about what we have, what we're sort of publicly announcing right now. So please take a look over there. So I'd like to step into the shoes of a website visitor, so somebody who wants to be able to pay with web monetization. And let's walk through what to do. Okay, so initially, I just want to say that like you need a wallet. And today we're just going to focus on using a test wallet. Like I don't want to cloud our thinking with anything other than play money. And the first thing we want to think about is just setting up your wallet and making sure that you have funds, right? A way to be able to pay. And let me see, let me see if I can quickly show you. All right, I'll have to change the way in which I'm sharing. I just want to quickly show you what I'm talking about from the wallet point of view. I'm going to share my entire screen. Not the best practice, but it's just to achieve a quick intention, to fulfill a quick intention. So here's my test wallet. I already have some money loaded in there, and I want us to be able to have a look at what happens to my balance as I visit web monetized sites a little bit later on in this example. So stop sharing and back to the presentation. Okay, I didn't think about how tedious it might be to stop between the two. So, alrighty. So we've looked at the test wallet that we're going to be using to pay. Now let's get the extension. And I'm using Chrome. So we'll go to the browser store. And I mean, we could have started just landed on the store and actually searched for the extension, and there it is. So let's add it to the browser. So let's extend the capabilities of our browser. And I'm just going to pause right there and say, there's a really cool sort of step-by-step guide on how to get set up with the extension, starting with just kind of talking about getting a wallet. We've just done that. And then finding your wallet address or your payment pointer. Your wallet address or your payment pointer is just it's a publicly shareable address to your wallet, right? It's a thing that you use to be able to tell people, pay me here, or say, I'm going to be paying you with this. So it's not sensitive information. And let's go to the wallet and call the payment pointer in this instance. Sometimes it's called a wallet address. And I'm just going to create a payment pointer for us to use today. Okay. This is not the juicy part yet, so don't worry about this too much. And there's some really great docs that talk you through this, so that's all good. Okay, so we have our wallet. we found our payment pointer, and okay, pin the extension to the browser toolbar. For easy access, we want to be able to come back at any time and just kind of open up our extension. So there, we've pinned it to the toolbar. And finally, connect your wallet. I've got my payment pointer already copied, so I'll paste it right there. We know that, or you'll remember that it was €1. Okay, there we go. We had 20 euros in there. And maybe let's just say that initially I want to give my extension permission to use up to €5, right? You can change this number to 10. This is just the maximum that can be used from my wallet whenever I'm on a monetized site. It's not going to change at all now when I connect. And if I never pay, a website anything, then my wallet remains, my balance remains intact and no money flows from my wallet. So let's connect. The message over here just says, hey, I want to be able to automatically add a key securely to your wallet. Do you give me permission to do that? And I'm happy to give it permission. And you will see my wallet just say a few things: finding your wallet, adding a key, right? Just setting me up and connecting those. And then my wallet just kind of says to me, hey, somebody's trying to access up to €10, which you would have seen on the Connect screen. Are you happy with that? And I accept that. And with that, my wallet and my extension are now successfully connected. I can close this window and we can go back to the site. So wallet done, extension installed, payment pointer copied, our wallet is now connected to the extension. So suddenly we have something funky or interesting that I just want to check whether you can see my entire window? So can you see the extension right here? Okay, I'm not looking, so just a quick thumbs up. Yeah, you can. Okay, great. Thank you. Cool. So there's the extension. And I now want to move us onto a site and just see what happens a little bit when we visit some websites that are monetized versus when we visit websites that are not. Let's start with Darian's website, which is right here. I'm going to refresh that, reload, right? And you will see that the extension immediately changes, or the icon of the extension changes to having this green little tick in the corner right there. You can see that my balance is still intact, 10 euros I have. The default at which my extension would pay per hour would then be, the extension would then work out how much to pay per minute or per second, depending on what I've configured over there. And let's say that I want to send Darian €1. I hit send. Thank you for your support. Okay, cool. And we can see that Darian received, there we go. Okay, €1 and a little bit of change. Okay, cool. Similarly, I just want to visit a website that we know isn't monetized. And in fact, let's go to Google. You'll see that the extension shows a red little X, and when I try to open it up, let me know that it's not monetized, right? Here's another website that I will reload. And there we go. Extension is monetized, and I can send Ryu a little bit of money, and so on. So the difference between visiting websites that can receive money from you versus not being able to receive money from you, either because they're not monetized or because, for example, I'm using Play Money right now, and I might visit a website actually that can only receive real money. Now, that's not going to allow for me to pay that website. And here's an example. JeremiahLee.com. This is a web monetized website of one of our colleagues. However, Jeremiah has configured his website, has set up his website so that it only can receive real money. So my Play Money isn't going to be able to flow into his real wallet. And you will see that the extension now has sort of this amber exclamation point right there. And when I open it up, sorry, this page can't receive payments from you at this time. Please check back later. Now, there's nothing to do other than just be aware that this is a monetized page that I can't pay. Perhaps one day there might be some changes, either from my side, where I'm connected to a different wallet that can pay this site, or from the site side, where they also have the ability to receive fake money from my fake test wallet So I've pointed out now what you would see on a website that is monetized, but you can't pay. That is not monetized at all, meaning for sure you can't pay it. And also one that is monetized and that you are indeed able to pay. Cool, so that was the extension. What else is new? Darian will spend quite a bit of time talking to us about the tools for publishers, but I also wanted to point out that we have some revamped documentation, revamped doc, and that's on our documentation site. There's some really cool, let me show you that right now. There's some really cool updates and sort of edits to how the site used to look, taking all different types of feedback from, talking to folks at hackathons, etc. We now have sort of this left-hand pane that lets you know what to look at depending on your point of view, right? So if you're a content consumer, you might be interested in getting started with the extension. If you are an owner of content or a publisher, you might want to know about receiving payments or getting started with your own website. And then developers might want to know all sorts of fun things, including having access to tutorials and guides, even just talking a little bit about the publisher tools themselves. So it's just a plethora of really good stuff right there. I think that might be it from me. And Darian, can I hand it over to you? I will stop sharing.
Let me take over.
Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who have not seen the tools yet, we build a set of utilities to support the web monetization, to help users get started, get them up and running with the web monetization. We are going to go to them one by one, but think of that their main purpose is to enhance the monetization readiness and encourage adoption of web monetization. One of them includes the link generator, which I'm going to highlight now. But you are all familiar with wallet addresses. So I'm going to grab one from here, and quickly generate the link tag that you can add to your website in the HTML, right? To enable monetization and give you the exact snippet you need to get started. It actually lets you, it simplifies adding the payment point and the wallet address, so your site is ready to receive main payments more easily. It removes the guesswork, let's say like that, from the setup process, helping content creators monetize faster. It also ensures you have the exact format. So just grab the wallet, click generate, copy this link, add it to your website, and you're ready to go. The extension, you have it installed. Once it's copied, it will already be enabled. You're good to go. Another tool which we will build, this one is my favorite. It's going to be the banner, right? So what the banner does, the banner actually informs visitors of your website who don't have yet the Web Monetization installed, it has a call to action, right? You can actually customize your banner with different colors, edit whatever text you want, but it needs to be tied to a wallet address, meaning it's important. You actually have to have a wallet address first, so it's tied, so the banner is tied to the wallet address. I'm going to use my wallet address. Whoop, right? I already have one created, and I'm actually going to change the color for it, make it green. I'm going to generate the button again. It's the important thing is going to ask me to confirm that I'm the owner of the wallet address that I've chosen, right? This is the consent part. And the most important part is that it's easy to actually use. All you have to do once the banner is created is get the script tag from right here and add it to your website, right? It's gonna look something like this. The banner will pop up whenever you don't have the extension already installed. And it's important because it encourages more users to adopt the Web Monetization. And I forgot to mention that it actually activates the monetization in the background. So it actually helps you get started with Web Monetization more easily. As I mentioned before, it's also important because there are no setup beyond adding the tool script to the page. I can easily modify. Let's say I want to modify the color of my, sorry, this one, right? I want to modify the color of my banner again. I want to change the text, and I want to change the font. All I have to do is generate the link once more, and if I refresh the page, I simply get my banner updated. As I mentioned, it has a link added to it with a call to arms to get the extension installed. It will prompt you to the store to get the extension. And once you have the extension installed, the pop-up will be no more. Also, you can add as many versions of configuration to the wallet as many as you want, right? But as I mentioned before, you need to have a valid wallet address to use the banners. All I have to do is select my ILF Web Monetization and generate my button again with this configuration. Now, to use this particular configuration, I have to copy the script again. Right. Another tool that we have, this one is really interesting because it's related to the revenue share. This tool lets you define a set of wallet addresses and assigns them weight probabilities. It's actually a setup in which you put multiple wallet addresses and gives you a script with percentages to select among them based on assigned probabilities. How this works, I can give you a quick example. Let's say I have another wallet. I have 3 wallets assigned here. I can quickly add another one. Yep. And let's say John, with another wallet. Whoop. And let's give it 20%. Thing is, it's a useful tool for collaboration, for collaborative projects whose revenue needs to be actually split across contributors, because it automates fair and transparent revenue distribution without a central authority. How this works? Let's say we have an article. We write a blog post about it, me, Alex, and John. And because I contributed more, we decide I get more money. Basically, a greater share of the payments, right? I get 50%. Alex gets 31, and John gets 19. These are percentages. Now, if someone decides to pay through Web Monetization, decides to pay my article because it was actually the greatest, I have a 50% chance to get the entire payment the user is going to make to that article through Web Monetization. If another user comes and pays, Alex will have a 31% chance to get the next payment is going to happen on that website, right? It generates a link with a script that you only need to copy on your website. I think I didn't miss anything. Sorry. Your feedback is highly valuable as we really continue to improve the tools, and we are also striving to offer the best user experience. Our goal is always to make these tools seamlessly and more tightly coupled within them. If you have any more questions about how the tools actually work, you can always check them by accessing the links from the presentation. Happy to answer to any of the questions on any of these tools.
Okay, thank you, Darian and TD for that. We will open the floor up for questions. I do just want to make sure that we're clear, because you mentioned about having the slides. Can we get the links to those slide presentations added to the document so everyone will have access to those? And then also, I do have an initial question for Darian about the revenue share portion. So if you're sharing it there's multiple people. Does everyone have access to that where they can like make updates? But then also what happens then if someone just decides to change the percentage of like who gets what without notifying anyone else? Like, is there like, maybe some step where it kind of notifies like the other people and maybe they like confirm it, or it's just a thing that the percentage just get changed and maybe the other people don't even know about it yet until they maybe go to it and see that like it's been changed?
So I'm going to the example I gave before, right? I'm the owner of the article. The three of us decide the percentages or the weights, right? And because I'm the owner, I'm going to add this link tag into my website, right? And nobody can then modify the weights or percentages outside of the website owner. So if we decide later then that Alex deserves more, right, we need to actually edit, import the existing ratio we already have, right? And then we have to modify it and save it again, then add it again to the website. So the power is actually in the hands of the owner of the content.
Okay, so I would also assume that like best practice is if there's any change that everyone needs, make sure that you have it in writing or something like that. So, if there's any discrepancies, like everyone will know, like in writing, yes, we approve any of those changes.
We are open to feedback, and actually your idea was great. If the initial the initial link tag is modified, it would be actually a good idea to notify the other contributors, the other wallet addresses.
Perfect. Thank you. So yes, we'll open the floor up. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to just come off mute or raise your hand. Okay. Nope. Going once. Going twice. Okay. So last thing, just want to mention that in February, some of our team were at Hackomania in Singapore for, their hackathon, and we've had two teams that they worked on the Interledger challenge, and so we had two winners. We had more than two teams, but we had two winners from that. And so we want to share, if you have not already seen it or read their blog post about their experience, we welcome you to also check that out on the community forum. And also remind you all to sign up for our newsletter if you haven't already signed up. We give out a lot of great information and updates about what's happening with the Interledger Foundation. Also, if you have any questions, we have a link in the doc as well where you can join us on Slack. And we have a section for question and answers where you could, and also just introduction. If you're new to joining or will be new to joining, you can do that as well. And also just follow us on our socials and Fediverse social medias, all the things. So LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Mastodon, Instagram, and so forth and so on. And also contribute to our GitHub repositories. We love to get your feedback, your star us, contribute to it. And also, again, provide any feedback. And as you dive into the Web Monetization extension, we have a form as well, feedback form that you can fill out to give feedback, ask questions as well. And again, thank you all for joining, and we hope to see you next month. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, we have a hand raised. Andrea.
No, I was looking for my applause hand. That's
Oh.
the wrong hand. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.